Hey guys, I'm back here for the quick tip of the week. I'm packing for my next trip up Baker. I just got off the mountain yesterday and got back kind of early, so I was able to hang up all my stuff. Over there you can see where I've been hanging it up on the line. It's all dried out now and I'm packing my backpack. Gonna be back on the mountain the day after tomorrow. So I packed my backpack up here, just about all the other usual stuff you need. And I thought I would talk a bit about the food I bring up on the mountain with me for a standard 3-day climb. First thing I will say is that if you go with a guide service, they tend to provide the food for you, at least the breakfast and the dinner. Both of my services that I work for up here do provide breakfast and dinner, but the one I'm going with is giving freeze-dried food, and I just ate that on the last trip, and so I'm already sick of it, so I'm going to pretty much bring my own food for this. The guide services do not provide any snacks for any clients or guides, so it's our job to bring that ourselves, and this is what I usually bring. So for my breakfast, since it's a 3-day climb, so you're gonna have 2 breakfasts and 2 dinners. So my 2 breakfasts are oatmeal, one of my favorite mountain meals. I have 2 packs of instant oatmeal per day. These are both the maple brown sugar, but whatever flavor works. For dinner, I'm doing top ramen. I generally only eat 1 pack a night, so that's 2 nights right there. But then some days I get more hungry than others if I'm having a hungry day, and so it's nice to bring a 3rd pack. They don't really weigh anything and they don't take up that much room, so I'm fine with having a 3rd one up there with me. And then hot chocolate, I also really like drinking this. My bowl that I use, this is made by a company called Squishy Bowls. It just crushes down to nothing and then pops into a bowl whenever you pull it out. So it's actually really great. Thermal too, so you can put boiling water in this and it's perfectly fine. With how big this bowl is, I just have 2 packets of hot chocolate, so that way it pretty much fills out the bowl and I can have a good flavor to water ratio and still get a decent amount of a drink. Yeah, they are just the standard ones that you would buy at any store or whatever. Maybe one of these days I'll actually get a big gallon drum of hot chocolate and scoop out of it, but I'm too lazy for that right now. So for snacks, I laid out a variety of snacks right here. Move that out of the way. I kind of like to think about it in terms of days. I'm also not one of those number counters or calorie counters where it's like I want to eat exactly 2,000 calories a day for whatever reason. It's just not the way I roll. So I start off with laying out bars for the day. These Luna bars, they say on the wrapper, made specifically for women, which is kind of funny. But yeah, just Luna bars, energy bars, good for eating, and they work at altitude too. I've really been getting into these crunchy Nature Valley bars, so I have 3 of each of those for each day. I'm going to throw in an extra Nature Valley bar just because I like them a lot. It's always better to come out of the trip with a little bit of extra food than have not enough. These nut bars are also pretty great because they're sweet and they have some salt in there. They're easy to eat and they're not that big. And yeah, it gives you a lot of good fats from the peanuts and stuff, and cashews and whatever other bar you have. So having a bar with nuts isn't bad as long as you like nuts. Bottom line is you want to have food that you enjoy eating because sometimes it can be hard for people to eat up there. These chewy bars, they go on sale a whole lot, and I usually pick up a good amount of them when they are on sale, but they're also just pretty easy to eat. They're small, which is kind of sad, but they make pretty good food up there, just anything, These shock blocks are nice too because they help treat cramping because they have those electrolytes in there. And then they're just sort of more energy type food. I tend to eat these on summit day after we wake up early in the morning and we're trudging uphill to the summit. That's when I break these out. I really don't eat too many of them, and that's actually the only time I'll eat them is on that early morning summit stuff. But I have a couple flavors here: fruit punch and strawberry. It's not bad to have a few extra for other people in the group too. If they're cramping up, you can give them some. This right here is like a energy gel. I've never tried this before. I just saw it at the Miar store and I bought it, so I'm going to try this out for myself to see if I end up liking this or not. But a lot of people, especially runners and other athletes, will swear by the energy type gel stuff. You don't even have to chew them, so I'm gonna see what that works out. Anything that gives you energy, especially on the summit day. Extra stuff, I guess over there is my spoon. Any spoon works. I will say that the long handle of the GSI spoon right here is nice for fitting in those freeze-dried packets without getting any food on your fingers or your gloves. For my bowl, a standard spork would work too, so it really just depends on your setup. And then the last thing I bring are these little Mio guys. This is just to flavor the water. They do add in some other stuff, maybe some sugar, but this doesn't add in caffeine or anything. It's just to change the flavor of water. I get tired of the taste of water pretty fast, so fruit punch. This one's fruit punch. I like the orange tangerine one or the watermelon strawberry one. It's pretty good too. I'm gonna see what fruit punch tastes like. And I keep that in a bag because I have had it leak on me before. To top it all off, along with all this other stuff, is the candy. Now this is kind of like the extra little pick-me-up when you're trudging to the summit or when you're just being really sad in your tent because it's been raining all day and you're just laying around doing nothing. So this kind of helps just keep people going. A lot of mountaineers swear by Swedish fish, and I guess I do too. I usually have a bag of them up with me, but I also like to have something a bit more sour, and so I got some gummy worms here. What I do is I just buy the normal bags and then I'll divide them up into various other sandwich bags. So like one bag of gummy worms works for 2 trips, and then one bag of Swedish fish for 2 trips. I never even finish these bags either while I'm up there, so I always have a little bit of leftover stuff which I can throw into the next bag. So it's just a little bit of something extra to bring. I think it's worth the wait to have some sort of sweet food up there with you. So here we go. Here's the final effect right here. All the food that I usually bring up in the mountain. I just took out a few bars from my demonstration pile. This is generally everything I'll bring. And one last thing, I'll show you how I sort of pack it all up in my bag. A lot of the bigger stuff, like these guys, I just leave out. If they get a little wet, that's fine. Generally on the approach is the only time where they could have exposure to being wet, and it's never been a problem. These packets, the outside is pretty well waterproof, never ruin the food, and then this doesn't matter if it gets wet. However, the rest of this stuff I sort of divide up into food that I do for the hike up, which goes into my hood, and then food for later in the climb. Okay, so here I have it divided up now. This is the food that's going in my hood right here, just a few, bars, and then the gummy worms. And then I also usually keep this in my hood too, because I'll lose it somewhere in my pack if I don't. Along with, I usually keep half a liter to a liter of water in my hood too for drinking on the way up. And then what I do with everything else is like the other bag, and then these shock blocks I don't use on the way up. And so sometimes I will throw them in my hood and just leave them like that the whole trip. Other times I will put them deep in my pack. And then one thing I do with all my rest of the food is I'll put them in this is a quart Ziploc bag, and that does waterproof them, which is really nice for the hot chocolate, because these packets aren't really that waterproof and I don't like them to get wet. And then another thing is it just keeps it all in a bundle. A lot of times when I'm in a hurry, or if I'm not I don't have this leisurely time to pack, I'll just grab a bunch of food and throw it in there. But if I get a chance, I will try to put it in a bag. And then when I get on the mountain, that bag becomes the bag that I put all my trash in too, because all the bars have wrappers and stuff, and all of this stuff has trash. So it becomes my trash and food bag, and then if I eat all the food, just my trash bag. So that's kind of how I segment it out. All my food goes in pretty much the top of the pack because I want it to stay together. But yeah, that's just sort of how I pack for a 3-day mountaineering trip. Another thing I forgot to mention that a lot of people like are Cliff Bars. I really don't like these. I eat them all the time, but I don't like them. The crunchy peanut butter and chocolate chip are my favorite. But these are really great food on the mountain. The only problem is if you try to eat a cold Cliff Bar or a frozen Cliff Bar, it is pretty much impossible. It's like biting into a brick. So you need to like smash it on a rock or something to break it up. But if you stick it in your jacket and keep it warm for a little bit, then it also makes a great snack on the mountain if you actually enjoy eating them. Well guys, there's another quick tip. I hope you enjoyed it. Hope it gave you a little bit of a sort of outline to go by if you're packing for your own trip. If you want to go out on a trip with me, I work for 2 different companies in the Northwest. One is Northwest Alpine Guides and the other is Me Our Adventures. You can get in contact with me through this YouTube channel or my Instagram. And if you want to climb anywhere in Washington, I'm sure I'll be able to work that out. Even if my current provider or my current services don't operate in that area, I can hopefully find a way to climb with you in a certain area in Washington or in another part of America. We could maybe see if we make something work of that. I know all of you guys have been requesting for my speed technique video for speed rappelling in group of 3, and I will be getting on that as soon as I can. Hopefully once work dies down a little bit. Other than that, thanks for watching, subscribe, like, and I'll see you guys in the next video.
I don't think I've ever seen a slug on top of, like, or like, you know, halfway up a plant to eat a leaf. This guy must have some major core. Let him go.